brief PowerPoint because I can't remember everything. Okay, here we go. So this is who we are. All right, here we go. Let's see. Our mission statement. The reason why I put up the mission statement is it represents us, why we exist. Okay? We want to train a group of good individuals so that they can contribute to the well-being of the society. We are one of the 5% business schools in the world, actually, being accredited by the highest accreditation body called AACSB, the Association to Advance Collegiate School of Business. Among all the good schools, Harvard, MIT, Carnegie Mellon included. We are very proud that we are also accredited by AACSB. And we also have a program called MSCM, Manufacturing and Supply Chain Management Program. Back in 2017, it was actually ranked by the Supply Chain Management magazine as number 6 in the world. We actually, we are on par with all the big schools, Arizona State, all included. And we are number 3 in master granting university in the Western US. Now I have to kind of turn my head to the left because I'm reading it from my other screen. So you have to forgive me for that. And okay, hold on 1 second. Some facts about CDE. We have about 85 faculty, 65 full-time. Now, all of our full-time faculty, they are either tenure track or tenure faculty. They all have terminal degrees. And we have about 1,500 undergraduate students, give or take. And we have 5 departments: accounting, decision sciences, economic, finance, and marketing. And the last one is management. International business is actually part of management. MSCM, this is manufacturing supply chain management program, is actually one of the programs within decision sciences. When you do come to CBE, you can pick a few majors. We call it concentration. Basically, it's a major. Under the Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration, we have finance, the typical IB, management, MIS, marketing, operations management. And then we also have Bachelor of Arts in Accounting. Together with accounting, we also have accounting and economics, which is it's kind of like a joint bachelor degree. We also have the Bachelor of Science, as I mentioned earlier, in manufacturing and supply chain management, and we also have Bachelor of Arts in business and sustainability. Of course, being in Pacific Northwest is a very logical program for us. This is actually a joint program between the College of Business and Huxley, the School of Environmental Management. And we also have economics with a lot of crossover to other disciplines as well. Now, what are we good at? What are we proud of? Like Dean Yang just said, we have a group of high quality faculty. We are very dedicated to teaching. Now, I want to also mention to you that there are 2 main streams of university in this country. One is research-oriented school, the UC Berkeley of the world, the Carnegie Mellon of the world. And there is also a group of university called ourselves teaching-oriented universities. In Western belong to that group. Now, for faculty, we are self-selected. Okay? If we really enjoy doing high-level research, we'll pick research-oriented university to serve. And at the same time, if we really care about teaching, we really want to interact with students, typically we'll pick those teaching-oriented universities. So our faculty, again, self-selected. They like teaching, they enjoy teaching, they want to work with students. That's why, we are very proud of that fact. We always emphasize the importance of having strong student and faculty interaction. Okay? For instance, in my case, I came from a teaching-oriented school for 29 years, and even as administrator, I keep an open door policy. If you really want to find me, want to see me, you can pop into my office anytime. You don't even need me to follow the office hour, because I enjoy that kind of interaction myself. And we also believe that now business should be done very globally. And therefore, we always maintain a global view within the College of Business and Economics. Actually, a lot of our faculty will come in with global experience. We'll get into that a little bit later. And we also understand giving you a degree is not enough for you to be successful in the future. And therefore, part of our drive is we want to pay attention to professional readiness for our students. There are a lot of things that we'll try to put in place. Dean Young and myself try to put in place to ensure that our student, when they got the degree, when they step out of this university, step out of this college, they are ready professionally. And we also believe that college is a period of time very important to your life. And therefore, we want you to define yourself. And the way you define yourself is we want you to have the opportunity to strike the balance between studying and also enjoying college experience. That's why we have a lot of student clubs, or we created a lot of opportunity for you to really interact with other students. So we get into that a little bit later in our presentation. Now, three things that when Dean Young came, okay, he realized that, well, we got to develop a strategic plan. So in 2018, we actually had a strategic plan, of course, approved by the full faculty. And out of that strategic plan, we have three main strategic initiatives. One is globalization. Okay, now, again, going back to what I said earlier, business is done very globally now. And we understand as well, most of our students, believe it or not, 70% of our student body actually comes from the nearby three counties, okay, King County, Snohomish County, and Whatcom County. And being the fact that we are serving a lot of domestic student, local student, we need to do better to make sure that they can have the global reach, they can have the global perspective. So that's why we put it as the number one priority on our strategic plan. Globalizing the college, globalizing our student body. The second is we understand now this is, when you go out and talk to them, this whole issue of inclusiveness becomes a very important, really push from corporate America. So we need to prepare our student body the same way. We want to make sure that they understand this whole concept of inclusiveness, and they are willing to really work in an inclusive environment. And of course, the third one is, as I mentioned, besides just giving you the degree, we need to make sure that you are ready from day one and hit the road and run. We created a lot of opportunity for our students so that we can accomplish those strategic initiatives, okay? We have executive coming in to visit with our students. And of course, we also take our student out to meet with executive. A case in point is, I believe, the very last, what we call leadership luncheon. It happened in the winter quarter, and I believe a local bank was actually the sponsor of it, and we took a group of students to one of the local banks here, and we were able to let our student meet with the CEO of that particular bank, and they have very good discussions. So that's the kind of opportunity we want to create for our students. Even while in college, they will be able to meet with top executives locally, hopefully, eventually, nationwide as well. We have guest speaker series that we created. We bring in people with expertise in a, let's say, open forum, talk to our students about important issue. For instance, even within this period of time, even with this pandemic, we are not stopping. We have actually something called Western Insight, for instance. It's a webinar that we invite people with expertise in the economics area, in the investment area, and the very next one will be in supply chain management area, to talk to our students, talk to our local community about how this pandemic is affecting the country, also affecting the world on these different topics: economics, investment, and supply chain management. We also created a lot of study abroad opportunity for our students. As we speak, I think Dean Young is working on a joint degree program with a school in Germany. We also have, exchange program with schools in China. We are working on exchange opportunity for our students in India, so on and so forth. So, and of course, as I said, we want a student to have a balanced life between academic and developing himself or herself, and therefore we have a lot of student club as well. Now, my own experience dealing with my two children is telling me that college is an important period of your life. And therefore, we want you to think about different issues before even deciding on a major. For instance, I want you to start thinking about whether you want to be a generalist or a specialist. Now, at this day and age, okay, when people are looking for a future employee, okay, obviously they want that future employee to bring in certain, let's say, technical skills. But at the same time, I can see that, I had the good fortune of raising two children. At the same time, I had the opportunity when I was in my previous institution, I had the opportunity to talk to a lot of recruiters, business executives. So I can tell you, being just let's say a specialist or a person with a lot of technical skill may not be enough for good career advancement. So you might want to, while you are being while you're focusing on a particular major, you might want to spend some time expanding your horizon a little bit and maybe look at being a little bit more of a generalist. The other thing I want you to consider is this whole issue of hard skills versus soft skills. Now, hard skills is more related to the classes you take, let's say the accounting, income statement that you're learning how to create, the marketing research that you are going to learn how to perform, and all those are what I call hard skills. But at the same time, again, when I talk to recruiters, when I talk to business executives out there, they always emphasize that, well, with a degree from a reputable university like Western, those recruiters would always tell me that we probably assume that your student will possess enough hard skills. So typically what we will try to do is to really look for the soft skills from your student. Now, what are the soft skills they are talking about? Typically they said, well, I want to see whether your student have, number one, communication skills. Number two, interpersonal skill. Number three, critical thinking skills. And of course, number four, leadership skills. That's it. Well, those are what I call soft skills. Therefore, what I want you to do is, while you're in college, besides getting good grade, besides getting good GPA, you've got to think about how to develop those soft skills. We'll get into that in a little bit. Now, the other thing I want you to focus on and at least pay attention to is the classroom versus extracurricular activity, that balance. Personally, I believe college is the most important period of your life, and at the same time, it should be the most enjoyable period of your life. And as such, you really need to strike that balance, okay? On one hand, you need to spend enough time in the classroom, make sure your GPA is good, but at the same time, that is also a period of time that you can really develop your network, define who you are, and you can only do it through participating in these extracurricular activities. I don't mind having all of my students go out and perhaps do some voluntary work, perhaps joining, let's say, student clubs, student organization, perhaps even going out and make new friends. I think that's how you define yourself. That's how you develop your network. You never know. In my case, Dean Yang just told you, I was his classmate way back when we were in grad school. Somehow we were able to develop the friendship, develop the network. So after 29 years working for another university, one day he sent me an email saying that, well, I need an associate dean. And he thought of me. He thought of, well, our interaction way back, 30 some odd years ago, probably he remembered that I was an okay guy. So all these came from the networking that you develop in college. Of course, we develop our network in grad school, the same fashion. The other one the other thing that I want you to really look at is this whole issue of single major versus multiple majors. Now, of course, I have a different, I would say, school of thought. When you talk to different faculty, they may have different school of thought. A lot of people would tell you, okay, well, since you have not decided what you want to do, and you should, look into double major, triple majors, 3 minors, 4 minors, so that you really try to learn everything about everything, and then eventually narrow down. My school of thought is, my own belief is, it depends. I'm a pragmatic person. So I always encourage people to look at it from a cost and benefit standpoint, okay? If it doesn't cost you any time, if it doesn't cost you any, let's say, lowering in GPA, then I would say, yeah, you should really try out different majors, 2, 3 majors, 3, 4 minors, so that you really see which one piqued your interest. But on the other hand, if it means, well, it may cost me 1 more quarter, 1 more year to get a double major, one more, let's say 6 more months to get a double major or minor, I would say stay focused. Stay focused early, finish with 1 major, because chances are, at this day and age, my own experience is the probability that you will go back and get a graduate degree is getting higher and higher, because the world is getting more competitive. And therefore, there is a high possibility that after your undergraduate degree, you will go and get a master's degree. And the truth of the matter is, once you get a master's degree, how many undergraduate majors you have become a little bit irrelevant. That's why instead of spending a lot of time getting 3 major, 4 minors, I would say focus on 1 major, try to finish early, and then look for an opportunity to get a master's degree. That's my school of thought. Of course, it may not be suitable for you, may not be totally accurate, so you give it some thought, okay? Let's see what else. Then let's get down to how to pick a major now. I always believe that you should pick a major based on this SWOT analysis. SWOC. S is strength, W is weakness, O is opportunity, C is challenges. Look into yourself before you pick a major. Look into do a deep dive. Look into the mirror and ask yourself, what am I good at? What am I not so good at? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Now, I'll give you an example. I have 2 daughters, as I mentioned to you. Both born and raised under the same household, okay, raised by the same 2 parents, okay, and yet they are very different in terms of interest, in terms of strength and weaknesses. First child, for instance, my first child, she told me in her own word, she said, Dad, I can put up with people. The implication is she doesn't enjoy interacting with people. She can put up with people, but she's very good analytically, very good with math, very patient. She has the patience to sit in front of the computer and do spreadsheet for 4 hours and all those kind of things. Okay, so she picked, again within business school, she picked accounting as a major. Second child, on the other hand, she told me, again in her own words, Dad, I can talk to a rock. That means she's a social animal. She's a social butterfly. She enjoys the interaction with people. Guess what? Well, she picked marketing as a major. And of course, marketing and HR, double major. Okay. Now I can tell you, honestly tell you, both of them are relatively happy now with their career. First child became a CPA, worked for PwC. Okay. Now, first job worked for PwC for 5 years, and then eventually, changed job to work for Charles Schwab. Second child, not only does she like marketing, she like HR, she is also into fashion. So first job, worked for Bloomingdale, living in New York. Again, happy, was able to get a good career out of it. So my point is, at least looking at my own children, they were able to build a career based on their strength. So I would encourage you to do the same thing. But first of all, you have to identify for yourself, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And again, after that, look outside. Look at the opportunities provided to you from the external environment. What are some of the challenges? For instance, okay, looking around. Now, of course, we are dealing with a pandemic. Okay, huge challenge. There's not much we can do about it. But let's go back to before the pandemic. What are some of the opportunities provided to you as college grad? I would say, well, definitely, let's say baby boomers, we are aging, and therefore healthcare becomes a good industry to be in. So perhaps if you have the, let's say, propensity, you can get into managing healthcare. You can get into maybe even doing a management major so that eventually you can manage, and let's say, a whole healthcare system. Or digital marketing, for instance. Now, digital marketing is getting more and more popular. So perhaps if you have, again, the propensity of doing that, then well, maybe that and it's an opportunity for you. So my point is, you should always try to look for a major that allows you to excel based on your strength and based on future opportunities. Don't forget, when you go out to find a job or even look for a job, you are competing with other people, competing with the 400, 500, graduate for that given year for a limited number of jobs. And therefore, you always want to compete against others using your strength. You never want to compete with others using your weaknesses. That's why the SWOT analysis is so important. You gotta, again, be truthful to yourself. Identify what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. And then after that, talk to your faculty, talk to your fellow students, okay? Find out what marketing is about, what accounting is about, what finance is about, what economics is about. Okay? Know more about this discipline before you pick a major. Of course, after you finish your foundation courses, you will probably have a better idea what those disciplines are about. Don't worry, you have an opportunity to change. Even if you pick one major and eventually you realize that, well, that's not for me, really not my cup of tea. Within the College of Business, it's relatively easy to change your major, as long as, of course, you keep up the GPA, you're doing good work and all those, okay? And well, I got to the end of my so-called formal presentation. And again, as I said, I have an open door policy. You can always come and talk to me whenever you have any question, okay, regardless of what question you have. And regardless, to be very honest with you, I count myself as an educator, and therefore, even if you eventually not come to Western, not come to CBE, if you believe that I can help you in any way, shape, or form, feel free to drop me an email. Of course, during normal time, I would invite you to come to my office. But now I don't even come to go back to my office myself. I am, I'm not in San Francisco. I'm actually about 10 minutes from school. I live on Samish Hill, that general proximity. So because I don't go back to my office now, so feel free to drop me an email if you really want to, if you need to. I can always set up a Zoom meeting with you individually to discuss any question you may have. Okay, that kind of finished my quote unquote formal presentation. I will turn it over back to, let's see, Dean Yang, so that maybe he can, let me see, where is Dean Yang? There we go. Okay.
Here I am.
So let me turn it over back to you. So now you're in charge.
Yeah, well, I'm back in my virtual swimming. So can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm live. Okay. So you have
It's a little bit jumpy, Scott.
Uh,
Can't hear you well.
This is Derek. Dr. Young, maybe if you turned off the video and just did audio, that might help.
Okay. Now turn off your video, not audio, Scott.
okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're good. Are you ready to field some questions, maybe? Scott?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody got any question for us while we're here? It's two of us. If you have a question, please unmute and then simply ask the question. Now, the first time we're doing this kind of meeting with so many people, so unavoidable is kind of chaotic, okay? You have to forgive us.
Hi,
So,
can you hear me?
Tina, yeah.
All right, perfect. I just have a quick question.
Mhm.
What is it like living on the campus? So I'm new to this whole college thing. I'm a senior in Utah, and I'm committed to Washington, and I'm really excited for all the programs. I'm a little nervous to like move out of my hometown. What can Western Washington?
Maybe I'll take this one, Scott, if you don't mind. I'll take this one because I think Scott has the illusion that I came here and joined Western because of him. But I'll tell you, the truth is, I really fell in love with the college, with the campus. We have a very beautiful campus. Now, all the joking aside, Pacific Northwest is very beautiful. And our campus, we are very fortunate that our campus is very spacious. And at the same time, the surrounding is very nice. Bellingham by itself is more, I won't say it's a college town, but out of the 90,000 population in Bellingham, Western has 16,000 students. So you can see actually Western Washington University play an important role in the local economy as well. And as such, we have a lot of students living on campus and nearby. So all the things that students need, I would say readily available. The campus is pretty. And of course, if you understand let's say the weather in Pacific Northwest, our summer is beautiful. Our summer is absolutely gorgeous. I'm not going to say the same thing about our winter. Our winter can be a little wet, a little windy, but let's say from now to about September and late September, early October, you cannot get better weather and, a prettier place than Bellingham. I'll be honest with you. I live in Deep South for 20 some odd years, and I travel quite a bit all over the world because of my previous job. So I can tell you, I fell in love with Bellingham the moment I came here. Well, of course, I really enjoy working in the College of Business as a team, and all the joking aside, I really enjoy my experience working with Dean Yang as well. So did that answer your question?
Yes, you definitely did.
Okay.
What kind of, are there any business clubs that are incorporated with the business, I would say, portion of Western Washington, or are clubs just where everyone can join?
Are you talking about the student clubs?
Student clubs, yes.
Oh.
Let's say yes, student clubs.
We have, if you go to our website, you will see that under the College of Business, we have close to 20 different student clubs, including the marketing club, finance club, Beta Alpha Psi, those professional fraternities. So we actually encourage our students to participate in those student club activities. You want to add something, anything to it, Scott?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I was having trouble with the audio. No, the clubs are very important. Probably less than 20% of our students actually participate in the clubs, unfortunately. I think they get very involved in their classwork. On the other hand, the clubs are usually the best way to have face-to-face introduction to executives. So we really recommend that clubs be.
Yep. We strongly encourage you to join student club. And actually, as I mentioned earlier, one of the important strategic initiatives for us is this whole issue of inclusiveness. And we understand that sometimes, club fee can be a little bit of, let's say, a burden to some of our students. And therefore, Dean Young and I are actually working on, well, maybe perhaps doing some fundraising to help students to pay for those club fees so that we can level the playing field for everyone. Any other question?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had a question.
this is Anu. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I was wondering, like, when do we have to declare our major within this business school?
The first 2 years, you typically take a lot of what we call GR. What is the term for it? Everybody under Western umbrella will have to take it, any major. Typically, you declare your major when you get close to your junior year. But of course, we would encourage you to declare as soon as you have 45 credit hours. We will allow you to declare as pre-major. And I would encourage you, declare pre-major as soon as you can. Because typically that's how we communicate with you. We can only communicate with pre-major, majors, and therefore a lot of time, let's say if we have internship opportunities or anything we believe that, as a business student, you need to take advantage of, we will inform you as majors and pre-major. So when you gather in more than 45 credit hours, you can declare pre-major.
I had a question about internships and are internship availability only offered to like upperclassmen, or are you able to get an internship the first summer or second summer of your years at Western?
Now for some programs, let's say MSCM, we require 2 internships, actually not even 1, we require 2 internships. But unfortunately, those are all, I would say, more upper level internships, like in your junior year and your senior year. I wouldn't say as a freshman or sophomore, it is, let's say, it is not likely that we will have a lot of internship opportunity for you, but of course, we will not stop you from getting one. And if you're interested, okay, you should work with individual department, work with individual faculty, and they will be able to help you. But it's not an official requirement that as a freshman or sophomore, you will be given an internship or you will be required to have an internship.
Awesome, thank you. And I have one other question. What kind of opportunities, are there opportunities to interact with other people within the College of Business and Economics, like even if you're in a specific major, like working with other students in other majors?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's something that we encourage, actually. We understand nowadays business need to be done very integratively. So as I said, we are trying to build you up as a generalist instead of just being a specialist. So yes, absolutely. We actually have a lot of activities. For instance, when Dean Young first came, I think he created, let's say, every 4 quarter, we have a sort of like a welcome back to school kind of party for everybody in the whole College of Business, and that's an opportunity that you meet with other students, and then Dean Young and I will meet with the student club leader at least once every quarter, so that we can kind of like share notes of the activities they are running for their members, and then we will encourage them to really open all those opportunities for other club members as well. So we are, both of us, a true believer in everything need to be integrated, and we always try to encourage our students to interact with other disciplines. Absolutely.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. Any other question?
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, please.
All right, so I have a question. I'm
Let the dean answer the question. Now, I have been doing all the answering, so it's not fair to me. So I'm going to ask Dean Young to answer this question for you.
All right. So I'm a transfer student, and I just finished getting my AA from a community college. So when I first come into Western, should I try to declare a pre-major immediately, or should I wait and take other classes?
All right, Scott, you take on this one.
Well, we have a pre-major advisor, and now
We can't hear him again, so I have to take on this again. Okay. Anyway, I think what Scott was trying to tell you is we have a pre-major advisor. Her name is Terry Hall. Terry, T-E-R-I, Hall, H-A-L-L. Terry Hall is her name. She is the pre-major advisor, she is also our student success specialist. I would strongly recommend, once you get into CBE, get in touch with her, and she will give you the appropriate advice. But my reading is you should declare a pre-major as soon as possible. Again, couple of things. One is, well, that allow us to really communicate with you more easily. And the second is, it's easy to change your major anyway. It won't hurt you. Do not be too concerned that, well, now I declare myself as a accounting pre-major. What if I don't like it? It's very easy to change your major later on. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay, I would strongly recommend, personally, declare a pre-major as soon as possible. But do talk to Terry Hall as well. Scott, is that what you were trying to tell gentlemen there?
that was what I was trying to say. Yeah, I also
We are losing him. I think he just wanted to make me work and just hide behind this, technology glitch or something, just to make me work. Okay. Anybody else? Hey, well, feel free.
Oh, Mr. Fok. So,
Yeah.
I'm just a little confused about like the CBE process. I'm transferring from a junior college as well, and I just wanted to know: is the only step in applying to the CBE just filling out that that application for admission / like major declaration form? Is that it? There's no essay or anything like that?
I think that is the only thing you need to do. That to play safe, to be safe, all right? Again, contact Terry Hall. Contact Terry Hall. He will check for you. Anything missing, he'll be able to tell you. Terry Hall. Let me see whether I can somehow. Well, you can actually go to our website. Look for Terry Hall. H-A-L-L is her last name, Terry Hall.
Okay.
Send her an email. She is very quick responding to students. So.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure. No problem. Any other question?
Hi, I have a question. So if I'm looking to start a business, does Western have funds to help you launch your business ventures?
Say, can you repeat the last part again?
So if I'm looking to start a business, does Western have funds to help students launch their business ventures?
Not that I'm aware of. Scott, can you take that on? Do you know of any funding that helps students start a business? I know we have entrepreneurship.
Yeah, we don't have, is my audio still bad?
Yes.
Okay, we don't have actual funding. However, Art Sherwood's entrepreneurship program will instruct students on where and how to find it.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Mhm.
Anybody else? We still have 9 minutes. No, we don't have to use up the 9 minutes, of course.
Yeah.
We still-
Wing, I did want to make a pitch for next Thursday's webinar 4 p.m.
Go for it.
Yeah, so next Thursday at 4 p.m. we will have a second webinar for all CBE students, and where we will answer more questions. Terry Hall will be present, so for those of you that are transferring, she will be able to handle a lot of specific questions, but you can write questions in advance and we will handle them. So there's going to be a message going out next week about that webinar.
Okay, great. Any other question? Any parents listening? Wow, no parents? Only students? Well, normally when I did this kind of presentation in the past, there were always some parents around.
Yeah, and they usually gave Wing a standing ovation.
No, I typically would tell them, well, there is light at the end of the tunnel. One day, these students can be independent and they will be off your payroll.
Yeah. Right. Well, we're going to conclude the program then.
Okay.
So we're really thankful that you came in, and we look forward to seeing you in person. A lot of times, Wing and I will walk around the building and nobody knows who we are. So we don't, so maybe you'll know since you Zoomed with us. We don't wear name badges or anything. I've been in the elevator before and students said, I don't even know the dean. And I was standing right there. So that's who we are. And introduce yourself. And we hope to see you in September. Okay. Adios.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Stay safe.